Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. I am tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we look back to the 1990s in this 500-piece limited edition Alain Silberstein Krono Bauhaus, made in Besançon, France. This is an example of the architect who became a watch designer at his best. Primary colors, fundamental shapes, a Bauhaus inspiration, a little bit of de style, and probably Dada too. This watch incorporates a postmodern perspective on watch design, and Alain Silberstein out of France was one of the very first modern independents back in the late 1980s, so a real pioneer, and this is exemplary of his 1990s work. The watch is a 500-piece series from the late 90s in steel, 39 millimeters in diameter. It measures 15.6 millimeters thick, and because of super stubby lugs, it's only 42.6 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. So we'll throw this watch on my wrist, and it almost wears like a lugless watch. You can see down the barrel, and this is the definitive view for fit. The lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. You can wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, even over the top, which always exaggerates the span of the lugs. You can see the lugs are still inboard of the side of my wrist. And in profile, it's cylindrical and sheer. It's not quite as thick as it looks, but it will fit underneath any jacket cuff. Sleeves on a shirt are going to be hit or miss. Now the strap, as you can see, it is ventilated. It is like a vintage tropic style with a sort of pyramid pattern molded onto it. You can see on the reverse side, likewise, the buckle. And by the way, this watch comes with all of its boxed set accessories, including secondary straps, a full Alain Silberstein deployant clasp, and the tools to retrofit the watch on the other parts. It's rare to find one of these with all the original tools, boxes, papers, straps, and documentation. This watch is stacked as a collector's piece. Taking a quick look at the case, you could see that it is remarkably cylindrical. What you can also see is that the attention to detail is exceptional. There's almost no daylight between strap and case because there's a little revetment or kerf in the side of the case that allows the strap to countersink into it, and thus there's no impediment to the motion of the strap, even though visually it's pinned and almost integrated into the case. It is a fantastic piece of ergonomic and industrial design. You'll also note that the watch is a monoblock, so the bezel and the case are all one piece. Everything loads through the back. See how the bezel and the case are seamless together? You can also see that the sapphire is almost seamless between the two, and the bezel is quite spare, really just a silver halo. It melts away when viewed from the front. Taking a look, we have more primary colors and fundamental shapes, and we have a little triangular crown, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to withdraw for setting, but if you look very carefully, Alain Silberstein, the designer, thought about this. So one corner of the triangular crown has a little notch inside it so you can dig your nail in and when the time comes, more easily pull it out for setting of the watch. See how that works? Just like that. That's what that little notch is for. The dial, well, this is why I say yes, Bauhaus, yes, de style, but also a little bit of Dada, as Dada was a sort of modernism that verged on postmodernism, the idea that silliness and random caprice could be part of the manifestation of a work of art. And you definitely have that here. The dial has good depth with a Reho outboard that acts as both a scale for the chrono seconds and a scale for the chrono minutes, because this is a Lemania 5100 movement. You have a 12-hour display, but then the minutes are displayed radially by this red serpentine hand. So you could see that is 15 minutes elapsed. We're working on 16 minutes elapsed. So like a lot of the 1970s era Lemania chronograph calibers, you get radial seconds, radial 60 minutes, you get a 12-hour register, and then you get this day-night indicator. It's not a second time zone. It lets you know whether the time you're looking at center is day or night, and I'll demonstrate that real quick. So for example, you can tell whether this is 7 in the morning or 7 at night. And you can see, because the little red hand is traversing on its way to 8, you know that you're looking at 7 in the morning. The white semicircle is the day, and then you can see the black is the night. It's very intuitive to read. Alain Silberstein was far ahead of the curve in using solid blocks of loom as applied indices, and that's exactly what we have here. We'll do a quick loom shot because I think it's important to emphasize this watch is all original tritium and dead as a doornail. Hands match dial, and you can see an absolutely awesome tritium fade. That's not Fotina, that's the real thing. And it's beautifully uniform all the way around, not just printed tritium. These are solid blocks containing the material, so an upscale applique dial, but with fantastic period aging. We also have a fanciful double-sided broadsword seconds display. It's more of a running indicator. And then there's a little blue tip at the end of the seconds. We have red, we have white, we have black, we have yellow, we have blue, and we have two little faceted frames for the day and the date. There's a double quick set for that and also hacking seconds. And when you turn it over, you can see Alain Silberstein dressed up the often plain Lemania 5100 movement. The watch is a 500-piece edition, second series. You can see that in its day, it was 100 meters water resistant, so believe it or not, this was a sports watch and it has a screwed-in case back. Automatique, again, these were made in Besançon, France. It does mention that it's powered by a Lemania 5100, made in France, one of very few modern watches to be so. Automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve, 17 joules, double quickset, stop seconds, 4 hertz beat rate, cam and lateral clutch chronograph operation. And you can see how it's been decorated with punched out components, a sort of space frame-like design of the rotor and the bridges underneath with a combination of media blasted profile, and once again, primary colors, yellow, red, and blue, with the Alain Silberstein logo metallized underneath. You can see it again on the dial side. Alain Silberstein is getting back into the watch business. I've seen his conceptual sketches of the watches that are coming, but what he also told me is that he's working out arrangements and now has a plan in place for these watches to be serviced, including parts, cleaning, oiling, and adjustment. So they are also going to be serviceable once again through his recommended shop, which means there's a lot of life to this brand, which is now being recognized as a true pioneer in independent horology. Before Richard Mille, before Journe, even before Roger Dubuis and Franck Muller, there was Alain Silberstein, one of the real pioneers. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.